Hello students, from today onwards we discuss about the NEET classes related to biology. Already few topics already the theory parts are completed. Whatever the theory they have completed, like reproduction related to human health and diseases, in such topics we discuss from today onwards. Whatever the after completion of theory, it is parallel, it is going on. So from beginning onwards, you must listen carefully. Then it is possible. Related to biology, it is the scoring one and easiest one from beginning, from day one onwards. If you observe very carefully, it must compulsory, you must secure 360 out of 360 in NEET exam. So very carefully observe. Here in the first unit, reproduction in organisms, sexual reproduction in flowering plants, human reproduction, reproductive health and all. In these first 4 topics, already 3 topics are theoretical part is completed. But this academic year, 2020-21 academic year, the first chapter regarding related to delaying of this beginning of the classes of CBSE, they did not included reproduction in organisms. That's why I start today the second chapter, reproduction, sexual reproduction in flowering plants and all. Already you know what is the reproduction, the ability of an organism to produce young ones similar to their parents. In this one, without fusion of gametes, such mode of reproduction we call as asexual mode of reproduction. With the fusion of the gametes, both male and female, that represent we call as sexual reproduction. Through sexual reproduction, there is genetic variation. Through sexual reproduction, there is morphological as well as physiological, genetical, there must be changes in the. In that one, what is another name of sexual mode of reproduction? Amphioxis. It is otherwise we called as amphioxis. So that is very important. So what is meant by amphioxis? The fusion of male and female gametes, then it forms into the zygote and further development of the organism. That is we call as amphioxis, or that is we call as sexual mode of reproduction. Here it must involve both male and female gametes. Then coming to what is the way without involvement of male and female gametes, then what is called as apogamy. That is, it is the amphioxis without fusion of male and female gametes. That is we call as apogamy. Then coming to the first one, amphioxis or sexual mode of reproduction, it must involve male and female gametes related to in plants. Regarding related to plants, what is the sexual part of the plant and all? So already different parts already you studied under. What are the parts present in a plant under? That is a root system as well as shoot system. There are 2 segregatedly it is present under. In that one, in shoot system, again stem is present, leaves are present, such type of branches, every part it will be present under. Related to what is the sexual part of the in a plant and all? Related to angiosperms, sexual mode of reproduction, normally we observe it with the angiosperms. That means flowering plants only. Name itself represents. So what is the flowering? What is the part which represents the sexual mode of part and all? There is nothing but flower. So it is a modified shoot and all. So in statement level of questions, so which part of the plant the flower must be modified, whether it is the shoot, whether it is the leaves, whether it is the root, like that options they give. Your option will be the flower is the modified shoot and all. It is the modified shoot or the sporophyll part of a shoot. Otherwise, it is called as sporophyll part of a shoot. That is, we called as flower and all. It is a modified one. So, which particular stage? Why? Because different stages are there. Juvenile stage, reproductive stage, sensing stage and all. Related to which specific stage in flowering plants, that the plant it produces the flower and all. Related to mature stage, that means reproductive stage. During reproductive stage, it ready to produce the flower and all. It ready to produce the flower during a reproductive stage. Reproductive stage, that means with whom will be helpful for that formation, for that production, this specific type of that flower and all. In that one, due to hormonal one, already you know, in first year you studied auxins, gibberellins, cytokinins. These are plant growth promoting one. So these specific hormones helpful to promote the formation of flower and all. That means with the help of hormones, then they may be formed into that means the epiphysis of the shoot with the help of hormones. Then epiphysis of a shoot, it forms into the primordium. Epiphysis of the shoot with the help of hormonal changes, then it is we call it as that is shoot primordia. In this shoot primordia, then they are ready to formation of the specific part of the flower and all. That means we call it as anthesis. What is the mean anthesis? Ready to formation or development of the flower parts. That is we call it as this one anthesis and all. In that anthesis, that means ready to start for formation of flower and all. Now we say, what is the axis of the flower? The axis of shoot. That means axis of the shoot. That which part, the axis of the shoot, where the floral parts it must be begins and all. Where the floral parts it must be starts and all. That is we call it as thalamus and all. The axis of the shoot or the axis of the flower. Why? Because shoot modified only that represent under that we call as thalamus. Wherever axis of the flower, wherever axis of the shoot, where it why? Because it is a modified shoot. That's why that is we call as thalamus and all. So the axis on which flower develops. Axis on which flower develops. That is we call as peduncle. The axis of the shoot or flower we call as thalamus. Another name we call as torus or receptacle. But minor difference in the axis where the development of the flower, that is we call as peduncle. But on that particular peduncle, the floral parts, that means what are the modified the floral parts? The leaf, it is the modified floral parts. Leaves are, that is modified the floral parts. So on the peduncle, that means on thalamus, the floral parts are originated in the form of orals and the floral parts, it is present in the form of orals. Different orals. Normally it arranged into the 4 orals and what is that one? The outer, that means that is calyx, then the second oral, that is nothing but petals, that is corolla, the third oral, androecium, the fourth oral, gynoecium. These petals, this is sepals. It is made up of the sepals and so these are the 4 orals. Normally it is present and any one among the oral it must be absent. In these 4 oral, exam point of view, which among these 4 orals are necessary parts of a flower, essential part of a flower, a reproductive part of a flower. So the third and fourth oral, these 2 are this one essential or reproductive, essential or reproductive part of a flower and all. That is related to, but if it is present any one among this one, any one among the essential part is present, suppose it is present in a flower, only male part, this is, it represents as this one male part. It represents of this one female. If both are represented in one flower, we call it as monoecious one, bisexual one, complete flower. A flower consists of both male as well as female particular reproductive parts. Such that particular flower we call as it represents, we call as complete flower, bisexual flower. Any one among these one is present, suppose only male is present, we call as staminate flower. Only female are present, pistillate one. If it is present male, staminate. If it is present female, pistillate. No one is present, neither male nor female. That such type of flowers we call as neutral flower. What is a neutral flower? Neither male nor female. So no one essential reproductive parts, no one necessary, that is floral parts are present and all. That particular condition of that flower we call as neutral flowers and all. That means it is not possible for that further growth and development of the that specific pollination as well as formation of fruits and seeds. Why? Because in the flower only it converts after the completion of different stages. Why? Because it is a pre-reproductive stage, pollination, that means fertilization stage, post-reproductive stage, it will be present. So after fertilization, the flower, it converts one among the fruit as well as seeds and all. Already you know what is the essential role of the flower, that aesthetic as well as social, cultural, all these religious aspects will be present. Say some examples, what are the cultural, what is the different types of ornamental flowers and all, that is related to marigold as well as rose and china rose as well as orchid, jasmine, lily. So such type of flowers are cultural, ornamental flowers. Normally it is present and all. It is for the sake of love, for the sake of grief, for the sake of affection, for the sake of aesthetic. All these moral, all these activities, it must be used not only in its own benefit, but also it is benefited to ourselves also. Related to scent, all these it must be present, because it must arrange different types of the attractive petals, different types of the odor. It will be present, fragrance. Like that, it must be represented, different types of these particular floral parts and all. Now, what is the structure of the flower? In that 4 whorls, where it arranged? In this basal part of the flower, it represents we call as pedicel. The flower which possesses pedicel, such type of flowers we call as pedicellate flowers. The swollen part where it arises, that is we call as thalamus or torus or receptacle. From there only each and every part it arises. This is the longitudinal section of a flower. This is the first whorl. It represents we call as calyx. It is made up of sepals. Here also some of the flowers has present 5, some of the flowers has present 4, some of these were 3, trimerous, tetramerous, pentamerous. There is more commonly it is a pentamerous. Such type of flowers are present under the second whorl. Second whorl of a flower, it is called as coral. It is made up of sepals. Due to some attractive colors which are present in petals, it takes place, attract this pollination and all, with the help of insect pollination. The third whorl, this is the stamen. In this stamen, one filamentous stalk-like structure, then anther will be present and all. This is the anther. So both collectively in anther as well as filament, collectively we call as stamen. Stamen is the male reproductive part. Otherwise we call as group of stamens we call as androecium. If it is present only androecium, such type of flowers, we call as pistillate. That means staminate flowers. Then last whorl, it represented the carpels. In these carpels, it is present ovary. This is we call as ovary. This is we call as style. This is the stigma. Style only that particular basement which one can, the stigma act as an important role to receive the male gametes at the time of pollination and all. Whereas calyx, that means before maturation. Before maturation, if you observe, this is while growth and development, this is the example of China rose. China rose under, that means Rosa, Hibiscus rosa sinensis under, before maturation of the flower under. This is the first stage under. This particular part we call as pedicel part under. So before anthesis, before formation of this, the specific anthesis under, then it will be present related to calyx, the outer, whatever green color is present, total inner morals, it must be protected and all. Completely it will be protected and all. So it will be protected. Then if you observe into the second stage of this flower, this particular parts we call as a calyx and the second, it represented the coral remaining, the specific type of the stamens as well as pistil. It is not at all visible. Then in completely development, the complete growth of the flower, completely maturation of the flower and all. And this is the complete maturation of the flower. This is we called as this one that is related to pedicel part and all. Then the surrounding of this one, it will be presented to the calyx part and all, green color. Then these are the petals. These are related to petal parts and all. Then after removing these particular petals and all, then it represents, then this specific part we call as, this is all that the stamen, whatever I said, the all filaments get together. Why? Because it is the China rose and all get together, it will be present and all. This is we call as monoadelphous and all. Then these are the anthers. Regarding related to anthers, towards the style. So the swollen part, whatever the swollen part is there, this swollen part represent we call as ovary. This is the ovary. This is the style. Towards the style, all stamens are fused, get together and all. Then the specific adjacent part, yellowish color which are present, that is we called as a anthers and then this is stigma. The outer part which are present, this is regarded as this one stigma and all. If you made it longitudinal section, then it is observable like this. Inside this one, ovules, such type of parts are present. So it is one type of flower and all. If you observe another type of flower, it is normally regarded as papilionaceous flower and all. In this papilionaceous flower, normally the flower is present. The outer one standard vexillum is present. In outer one standard vexillum is present and all. So this particular part we call as vexillum completely. Then the both sides little bit pink, that is the dark color and all, that represent free wings are present and all, or alae, A-L-A-E will be present. The innermost one, if you observe the innermost one, this is that white color which one can represent the innermost one, it must be fused one. Two are present, two petals are present. This is we call as keel or carina. Normally it must be closest one. Whatever earlier we shown, that is the flower are opening and the flower, if it is open, we call as such type of flowers we call as chasmogamous flower. But this one, before opening, which are inner side, both male and female parts are closed one. Whenever the closed male and female parts, that particular condition of a flower we call as clistogamous. Whenever it is sometimes maybe self-pollination. Why? Because without opening only the pollination takes place. Maximum it prefer to the self-pollination. Whenever it open, then there may be possible for allo. That means cross-pollination. So here the inner two whatever petals are there, that is we call as a keel or carina. It completely covered with male and female. That means androecium, gynoecium. That's why in this particular, before opening, that particular condition we call as clistogamous. Whenever clistogamous, why? Because in further topics it is very important. Whenever that clistogamous condition compulsory, there may be takes place. But viola, such type of the plants, 100% is present. But here sometimes it will be open. Whenever closes that condition we call as clistogamous center. So this flower is the example. This flower normally it represents example of this one. This is cowpea and all, Vigna unguiculata. Whatever just now we said, that is only the separate flower under cowpea or Vigna unguiculata. That means leguminous. It is also comes under leguminous one. All leguminous family, the particular flowers are related to 5 that corals are present. One is the standard vexillum, 2 are free winged alae, 2 are again will be closest related to keel or carina and all. So that you remember carefully. Then in a continuation related to in this LS1, this particular part we call as ovule and all. This part we call as ovule. Here before that LS center, if it is a normal, any type of the normal flower, this is here it will be present bract and all. Some of the flowers are present bract. Before maturation it must be protected. Before anthesis, before formation of calyx only it must be protected. Such type of flowers we call as bracteate one. Wherever adjacent part, this is we call as bracteo. This is the calyx. This is the corolla. The inner part it will be present androecium as well as gynoecium part and all. Before this one, this part we call as that pedicel part. Whomever flowers are present bracteate flowers. Whomever absent means ebracteate one. Whomever present bracteolus flowers. Whomever absent means ebracteoles. Bracteate, ebracteate. Bracteoles, ebracteate. Then now say example of complete flower. That means bisexual flowers. Bisexual flowers normally we observe into the like brassica, just now we said about like China rose, such type of this one, it is the best example. Like unisexual or dioecious. Dioecious, normally we observe into this one, papaya, like papaya, date palm, marigold or mulberry, such type of this one, dioecious, both male, female it will be present. Then what is meant by related to floriculture? What is meant by floriculture? That means growth, marketing of, that means ornamental as well as ornamental and cultural flowers. It is important. What is meant by floriculture? That means the flowers which are present related to cultural as well as ornamental, that growth and marketing of this one, it is we call as floriculture and all. So in this one, you must, what you studied in this class and in this class you studied, what are the parts present in a flower? What is the essential parts of a flower? That means reproductive part. That means androecium as well as dioecium. Where it is called as a complete flower. If it is present all four whorls in a flower, then it is called as a complete flower. When it is called as incomplete one, any one among the whorl if it is absent, that is we called as incomplete one. If your flower has present only androecium, then what we call such type of flowers? That is we call as staminate flower. If it is present only female, that means dioecium part, then what we call as such type of flowers? That is pistillate flowers and all. Then whenever that flowers, whenever ornamental as well as cultural, these flowers are growing and marketing, that is that particular things are that is we call as growth and marketing of ornamental as well as cultural flowers, that condition or such type of this culture we call as floriculture and all. Due to floriculture, it acts as vital role and all. So you observe what are the parts where it is present, where it will be originated. That is, here represent microsporophyll related to male reproductive part, megasporophyll related to female reproductive part and all. So remaining we discuss in next class.